well, we have Justin Camp to talk about aquifer status. And if everybody thinks that it's been very hot and dry, and it certainly feels that way, and he has some data, aquifer data, to prove it has been very hot and dry. So Justin, care to turn very good, Cam, and show us some, try and show us some good news, but if you can.
Right. Thanks, Brian, and hello, and good evening, everybody. Starting with recent rain totals, in August, we received about 4 inches of rain. And so this was about 2 inches above average. While this rain was welcomed, it's still just not enough to produce any significant recharge. In fact, the last significant recharge we saw in the area was, and particularly at Antioch, was last May. You can see that 8 inches in 2021. But for this month in September, we have just about less than a half an inch so far. The historical average this month is about 3 inches. So we've got some catching up to do the month of September. And the next slide, please, David. I wanted to remind everybody in how we're tracking all of this is that the district has reinstalled, or replaced rather, the district weather station here.
Yay! And, I missed it.
Right? And
yes.
And David has placed the link underneath the drought status on our homepage. So you can find it there. You can click on that and save that dashboard in your on your browser. This hobo weather station is really a substantial, legitimate weather station that it'll host a number of different parameters like barometric pressure, relative humidity, soil moisture, and of course rainfall. Yeah, like I said, this is a really reliable weather station for us in filling a gap, and to anybody for that matter who's interested in tracking weather data. Next slide.
I'm super excited. Okay.
Looking at Barton Springs flow, you guys can see we have turned the corner, back sometime in May, and have really been tracking downwards. In fact, not necessarily May, it was somewhere in the middle of summer. Nonetheless, we are falling in flow level, and it doesn't seem to be turning around with the lack of significant recharge. And moving on to Lovelady, we can also see it here on the far right. We're tracking that that crest is starting to move downwards. That started in late August, August 21st to be exact, and is quickly turning down. And moving on to the next slide, I'll show you guys, this might look familiar from our last board meeting, in that with a little bit more data, the green hydrograph, you're looking at 2020 Lovelady data, and that blue there, the 2021 data. So we finally hit an apex and have started to come down at Lovelady this year, sometime in late August as well. That being said, I'll remind you that 2020 data, it took us only 77 days and 3 inches of rain from the last crest to getting back to alarm stage 2. The next slide, I kind of manipulated the data a little bit to just really juxtapose those two hydrographs up on top of each other. And they are, as you can see, very similar, if not in the blue 2021 data, maybe dipping a little bit quicker. So as we'll continue to track this, we do have some of a prediction element to that 2020 data. And since the downturn of the 2021 Lovelady, we've only received about 1 inch of rain. So moving on to the next slide, I'll reiterate that a worst case scenario starting today with no more rain, Lovelady could return to alarm stage 2 in less than 100 days, which places us somewhere in late December. And again, that's with no more rain. Lastly, NOAA has issued a La Nina watch, which they've upped the percentage of the La Nina to a 70% chance of happening. And that is estimated to begin in the 2021 summer into the 2022 spring. And as we know, La Nina brings us drier climate with below average rainfall. With that said, here's kind of a summary of what we are currently looking at. Current levels at Barton Springs, 67 CFS, well above our threshold, and then a 489 mean sea level.